Hey insiders, it's Nicole, NR the Insider, and I'm back with another video for y'all. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment and share and put on your Facebook or for your grandma, whatever. Just do what you gotta do to get me out there because I'm trying to get popping so I ain't gotta work no more. Let me stop. So today's video is about some law school myths that we need to talk about because people will have you shook out here talking about what they heard about law school and this and that when it really don't even be true. So let me put y'all on game real quick. First of all, everybody in law school is not mean and super competitive. Now let me tell you, people are definitely competitive because we are out here trying to get it, but people are not competitive in a bad way. For example, I've heard stories about like people ripping pages out of books in the library or telling you the wrong page number. I don't know, all kinds of crazy stuff. In real life, people really don't be doing that. Maybe that has happened a couple of times or something, I don't know, but that's not a real thing. So I go to law school in DC and there's tons of law schools in the area, and I've talked to people from those different law schools and they haven't experienced anything like that. So don't come to law school thinking you need to be super mean and don't make no friends and blah, 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 blah. No, absolutely false. If anything, you need to make more friends because your net worth is your network. You catch that? Your net worth is your network. So if you're out here being mean and not trying to help your classmates out, then you're not gonna have a good network for after graduation. And trust me, I've heard lots of stories about people getting jobs because of their old law school classmate that they were really nice to. So back to my point, law students are not super mean and crazy competitive. Everyone is competitive, but in a good way. And nobody's gonna be ripping pages out of textbooks and looking at you crazy. No, nobody's doing that. Law professors are not like the professors you see on TV. A lot of them have very interesting backgrounds. They're not super snobby. They love when you come to office hours just to talk to them, even though you'd be like, what do I even say? I don't know. But they really like when you go to office hours. Law professors are really cool people. Like I've heard stories about people going to their offices to cry because law school is a struggle sometimes. Like, don't think that your law professors are all super snobby. And even the ones that come off super snobby in class, if you go to their office hours, they're really just not like that. This is the one right here. Just because you're top ranking in your class does not mean you're gonna get a big law job. And just because you're not top ranking does not mean you're not gonna get a big law job. So I'm in big law, shout out to me, and I definitely was not the very top of my class. And somebody even told me that I wasn't gonna be able to work in big law because of that. But here I am now. So don't let these people fool you. If your networking is good, if your interview skills are good, and if you have other credentials, you can definitely try to slide into big law. Just because you're not top ranking does not mean you're gonna get in there. And I have friends who are on Moot Court Journal. They did everything they needed to do, and they were struggling during on-campus interviews. So ignore all that stuff, okay? Of course, do your best with your grades, but if you end up taking an L in one class or something, it's okay, because you still have a chance to get into big law, or to whatever field requires, or not field, but whatever legal area requires you to have good grades or good credentials. You'll be fine, don't worry. Study groups. I personally really don't mess with the study groups like that. Sometimes I might call up a homegirl like, hey, like, did you get the notes from this class? Or do you know what this means? But as far as like having a study group all semester, I didn't really like that. And I think the conventional wisdom is that like you should always have a study group. And I have people that did have them and they got really good grades. And I know people that didn't have them like me and got good grades too. So you don't have to have a study group if that's not how you study. I've also seen people in study groups get different grades in the same class, so be careful about that too. Yeah, study groups are not a necessity. Whoever works the hardest does not necessarily get the best grades. You know why? Law school is about working smarter, not harder, okay? If you try to memorize every single case, all this and that, you're not gonna do the best. What you need to do is look at those old practice exams. That's how you get the best grades. But anyway, that's just a little gem I'm dropping. The larger point is just because you're in the library all the time or because you came prepared to every single class does not mean you're gonna get the best grades. Trust me. There are many other things that determine whether or not your grades are gonna be good, and memorizing every single word of a case is just not, it ain't it. Which leads me to my next point. You don't have to memorize everything in law school. Now, some law schools, I think, only have closed book exams, but a lot of law schools have variations between closed book, open book, partially open, partially closed, whatever. And I'm talking about like outside the pandemic when you're actually in person taking these exams. But if you're in person, a lot of law schools actually have open book exams. And so that's when you change your study method, because you're not just memorizing things, you gotta actually understand a little bit more. So you don't have to memorize every single thing. Now, when you get to doing bar prep and all that, that's another story, and I'm not even there yet, but just for the sake of law school classes, most law schools don't only have closed book exams from what I know. Now, let me tell you about this one right here. There's always time for fun in law school, and you're gonna need that because you're really about to be grinding and in the books, but you gotta have fun too. Me and my friends, we probably hang out every single weekend. I make time for stuff, I travel, all that. There's definitely time for fun in law school, and you gotta make time for it because you're just gonna be mentally exhausted if all you do is read torts and contracts all day. No, girl, you need to get outside, get your little drink, get on a little boat somewhere, look cute, do what you gotta do, but there's always time for fun in law school. And law school people are actually really, really fun. Like, I was a little apprehensive. I thought people were gonna be boring, but no. These people like to party, like to go out. Yeah, there's always time for fun in law school. Now, last but not least, you don't need to know exactly what you wanna do with your law degree before you come to law school. There's literally so many things you can do with the JD, and there's so much that I'm still learning right now. Like I always be telling y'all, I'm working in big law right now, and there's just like a ridiculous amount of practice areas. My friends that do public interest, like there's so many little things that you can do and so many different paths that you can take. And if you don't like one thing that you're doing in your career, you can switch it up later. So you don't need to know exactly what you want to do when you come to law school. And in fact, I mean, I thought I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and it's kind of changed a little bit, and that's okay. It happens to the best of us, you know? But as long as you get that JD next to your name, you good. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what, insiders, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Like and comment down below. If you disagree with anything, let me know. We can have a little chit chat. Yeah, so bye, insiders.